Year-over-year prices also jumped, making many essential items more expensive. The Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan senior group, started a petition in September of 2021 to lobby for a new $1,400 stimulus check just for seniors.
Prescriptions.
Another stimulus check would also offer important tax advantages for those on fixed incomes.
Stimulus is advanced refundable tax credit.
Breaking news, Joe Biden is now debating on taking executive action. Top Democrats like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are trying to pass legislation that would change Social Security for years. And this comes as Republicans propose several big changes. Americans that receive monthly benefits also could receive a big decrease in checks this week. Everybody, Democrats are facing relentless GOP attacks over high inflation, and it appears to be narrowing in on defensive programs like Social Security and Medicare as they seek in the final weeks of the midterm cycle to boost their standing with voters who say they are more distressed about the economy. In recent days, Joe Biden and lawmakers on Capitol Hill have boasted that they'll stifle and stifle any attempt to cut the programs, seizing on both of the rising likelihood that the Republicans wrest back control of at least one chamber of Congress next month, and plans from GOP lawmakers that could curtail the entitlement programs as part of a broader government spending change. And with conservatives favored to retake the House around the same time that the federal government approaches its debt limit, GOP politicians have suggested that they will use negotiations on raising that threshold as leverage to extract commensurate cuts. And also, GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, who is expected to serve as a speaker if he wins control of the chamber of the midterms, he said he would not predetermine anything. And Republicans Representative Nancy Mace casted spending negotiations over the debt ceiling as a matter of fiscal responsibility. She told CNN the federal government just kept getting record revenue year over year and hasn't had to make these tough decisions. Rick Scott, the chair of Senate Republicans, also called and released a plan earlier this year saying that all federal funding, including entitlements, should be for sunset every 5 years, which would be subject to so many of federal programs to repeated voters in increased polarized Congress. And Ron Johnson has likewise called to make Social Security funding discretionary, but contended he wanted to fix rather than eliminate the program. Democrats are pouncing on those remarks, and others to pose what they hope to be a clear and cutting contrast with Republicans. Bernie Sanders echoed that message on CNBC News, saying, "You know what Republicans talking about? Cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. It is absolutely irresponsible." Joe Biden is also authorizing a Democratic National Committee to transfer $10 million to House and Senate Democratic campaign committees, and is pledging to help raise $8 million for his party. A senior party official familiar with the plans told CBS News that the president's decision to distribute the money, which he can authorize as the head of the Democratic Party, comes as he continues to play a more important role in electing Democrats. But President Biden has proved to be an effective fundraiser, holding events in recent like California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and other states like Pennsylvania. The plan is to distribute $5 million each to the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee and Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, meaning the DNC has transferred a total of $27 million so far this cycle. Separately, the party is vowing to help raise another $8 million for the two campaign committees. CBS News has found that the House Republicans continue to lead Democrats, but CBS News estimates that the majority they expected to win has been narrowing. Most immediately, the election will determine what Biden can get done for the rest of his term, and whether any of his remaining policy goals can go through Congress through executive orders, which future presidents can more easily undo.
The numbers are out for the latest round of stimulus checks.
And every way you look at this, North Carolina ranks in the middle of the pack. CBS 17 digital reporter Jody McCrary is digging deeper tonight into why that might be a sign the stimulus is actually working very well here.
The IRS says 5 million payments went to North Carolinians, roughly one for every 2 people living here.
People want to know, was this effective? One key piece of this answer is to understand who received the money.
Households in our state received an average of $2,400.
It is finally approved. Many stimulus bills have been passed by lawmakers. Checks will begin going out this month, and people have to meet the new eligibility requirements in order to receive these newly stimulus checks. So folks, it's pretty good to see that President Biden is helping out the American people with stimulus payments. If you think he's doing a good job on this, tell me in the comments. So you guys are going to have to take action right away to receive these relief checks. So now that tax season is over, residents in several states may be eligible for additional economic impact payments, and while the third round of stimulus checks were sent out, people can be eligible for a fourth one. In the state of Georgia, the governor signed a bill in March that will provide eligible state residents additional economic payments after they file their taxes. And according to the statement, once a taxpayer files their taxes for 2021, the state Department of Revenue will send out additional credit. Single taxpayers will receive $250, married couples will receive $500. A taxpayer that is considered the head of household will receive a $375 payment. According to the governor's office, when government takes in more than it needs, those dollars should be returned to the taxpayer, because that's your money, he said. Now, similar legislation was signed in Indiana. The governor's office said earlier this month the governor announced in December that an estimated 4.3 million taxpayers are set to receive a $125 stimulus check after filing taxes. That's an estimated $545 million going back to Indiana residents. In New Mexico, there could also be a chance for you to receive a tax rebate after filing taxes. The governor signed this legislation in March, and single tax filers will receive a one-time tax rebate of $250, and married filers will receive a one-time tax rebate of $500. In the state of New Jersey, residents will be eligible to receive up to $500 in tax rebates after they file their 2021 taxes. According to Forbes, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy and the state legislature previously approved a budget that sent out $500 tax rebate checks to approximately 1 million families. Last month, Murphy included a one-time $500 rebate check for individuals who filed their taxes using a taxpayer ID number. According to Forbes, everybody, the Idaho governor has also signed a bill that allocated $350 million in tax rebates for eligible residents. The Idaho Tax Commission released an official statement and said that any Idaho person who was full resident of 2020 and 2021 and who filed individual tax returns for that year are eligible for the rebate. The rebate amount will either be $75 for each taxpayer and each dependent of 12% of their 2020 taxes. In addition to these 5 states that have already approved additional economic payments, including the April 18th tax filing deadline, several other states have similar proposals in place that have yet to be passed by the state's legislature. According to Forbes, states like California, New York, and Hawaii have similar proposals to provide residents with additional economic payments.
Americans feeling the pain of rising prices. We've reported that everybody paying more for food, for cars, for gas, and even health care. Current and future retirees will likely see medical expenses make up an even bigger part of their budget. CNBC's senior personal finance correspondent Sharon Epperson spoke to some women who are worried.
When Kathy Martin turned 50, she hit the gym.
And I want to be active for as many years as possible.
What worries you the most about healthcare costs?
Not being able to access care. When you have to prioritize your living expense versus health care, that's a major problem.
Martin is in good company in this Silver Sneakers fitness class, whose members are working on staying healthy, but worry about the future.
What's going to happen when I get older?